squeezed between morning coffee and noon sandwiches, there's a good chance you saw Representative Schiff, D-Burbank, standing front and center in the U.S. Senate on Wednesday, Jan. 22, in the role of lead impeachment manager in the marathon case against President Donald Trump. In this moment of political prime time stood the same fellow who speaks at local Memorial Day ceremonies and who nominates students from Los Feliz to Sun Valley to services academies. Schiff has long been a Trump tormentor and a Trump target on a national level. It's a long way from the days when the younger congressman would stand in front of a microphone at the Burbank Memorial Day ceremony offering up words for the local men and women who gave their lives in war. On Wednesday, tapping echoes of Alexander Hamilton and George Washington, the one-time Assistant U.S. Attorney General meticulously previewed the argument to convince U.S. senators to evict the president from office. With conviction requiring a two-thirds vote in the GOP-leaning Senate, it's said to be an unwinnable cause. Nonetheless, the veteran representative's 2.5-hour opening statement left foes infuriated and boosters gushing. When a man unprincipled in private life, desperate in his fortune, bold in his temper, possessed of considerable talents, having the advantage of military habits, despotic in his ordinary demeanor, and known to have scoffed in private at the principles of liberty, when such a man is seen to mount the hobby horse of popularity, that was Schiff channeling Hamilton, right off the bat. It was language no less lofty than those Memorial Day ceremonies, with stakes seldom higher in a battle that has divided a nation over rhetoric that ranges from righteous to juvenile. And on Wednesday, Schiff stood at the center of it all. A masterpiece of persuasion, battling for the integrity of the republic? Or the latest, shifty, shakedown by the corrupt politicians who is leading a sham trial? Your response likely depended on which side of the aisle you stood in this mega-polarized era. CNN labeled Schiff the Democrats' impeachment star. Fox News decried the length of the speech and cited the empty seats in the Senate by the time it concluded. The speech inspired a new round of GOP shade against Schiff. Trump blasted the proceedings from afar, joking that he would face off with Democrats by coming to sit right in the front row and stare at their corrupt faces. Trump, who returned Wednesday from a conference of global leaders in Davos, Switzerland, set a presidential record for activity on his favorite social media platform, sending at least 124 tweets in a single day, according to FactBase, a service that compiles and analyzes data on Trump's presidency. I watch his lies, where they've actually played a rerun, which they shouldn't even do. It was so bad, where he goes before Congress, and he makes a statement that I made, and it was a total fraud. I never made it. That's why I released the conversation, because if I didn't release it, people would have said that I made the statement that he made. This guy is a fraud, Trump said in a Fox interview aired Wednesday. The AP checked this claim, noting that Schiff spoke after Trump released the rough transcript of his July phone call, not before. Trump's claimed motive for coming out with the transcript is demonstrably untrue. Schiff keeps lying, the White House tweeted Wednesday after Schiff's opening argument. At no point on the call did President Trump ask President Zelensky to announce investigations. It's a sham impeachment and it's a waste of America's time, and the people of North Carolina are getting tired of it, U.S. Representative Tom Tillis said in a video message on Twitter. Twitter.com/UkAcute543Whiteo, Senator Tom Tillis, @SenTomTillis, January 22, 2020. Amid all that, there was also a stream of positive reaction, with some calling the speech historic. It was truly masterful, said Claremont McKenna political science professor Jack Pitney, who noted that Schiff's presentation Tuesday and Wednesday in the Senate chamber were two of the finest speeches I've heard in the halls of Congress. A steward of democracy, said Kristen Hebbard, board member of the California Young Democrats who serves on the National Committee of the Young Democrats of America. On Twitter, it was clear on Wednesday, as if it hadn't been before, that Schiff has become the face of the impeachment effort. As much as his own party is leaning on him, criticism has taken on an emotional tone, said Hebard. And even though Schiff has been the object of GOP scorn for months now, his role, and the praise and ire that goes along with it, truly went global this week, said Rep. Brad Sherman, whose San Fernando Valley district neighbors Schiff's. The scorn reflects the larger polarization, tribalism, happening in America, Hebard added. You can see it in the rhetoric around Schiff. There are the pencil-neck t-shirts bearing a mocking cartoon image of Schiff, sold by Trump's re-election campaign. There was the Trump campaign rally back in March in Michigan, little pencil-neck Adam Schiff. He's got the smallest, thinnest neck I've ever seen, the president said. He's not a long ball hitter, but I saw him today. Well, we don't really know. There still could have been some Russia collusion. It goes beyond the Senate chambers, and beyond Schiff. Politics aside, Jessica Levinson, director of Loyola Law School's Public Service Institute, praised Schiff's oratory. I would have been so proud of any of my students for performing the way he did today, she said. It was really well organized, very clear, and presented in a way that undercut Trump's defense. We're gonna be reading this speech in 10 or 20 years, and someone's going to say to the Republicans, how did this not move the dial at all? Perceptions of Schiff are reflective of current politics, she said. I think it is so America in 2020. It totally depends on whether or not you are a supporter of President Trump or a critic of President Trump, Levinson said about whether you gushed or wailed over the address. Kind of ire Schiff faces is nothing new, Sherman said. Look, that's not unusual for a member of Congress, he said. I have a lot of town halls. And there's the thank you, Brad signs. But there's also the blank you, Brad signs. Obviously, what Adam faced today was on a much bigger and important stage. It's the first time, but for the first time it was with the whole world watching. For Schiff's part, it's apparent there's an effort toward a degree of zen. The president's team would like nothing more than to provoke a bitter conflict, he told reporters outside the Senate chambers on Wednesday. We're not going to let them. The facts are damning. The Associated Press contributed to this story. Let's block ads. Why?